Good morning, traders. Happy Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at what we got. So nice little range here overnight. We had this massive move up. So I actually am looking at, if we get a return to this point of control level around 293, yesterday's point of control, that's actually where yesterday's VWAP closed also. So that could be a decent pullback if we get super bearish, but we also have the London low and Asia low liquidity, which is right above our weekly VWAP. So weekly VWAP is at 333. Asia low and London low are right in that area. So I like this region right here for a possible bounce if it comes down there. And then overhead, kind of similar. We have a couple liquidity sweep areas kind of overlapping. London high and previous day high. If it comes up and heavily rejects that, that could be a nice little scalp opportunity. As far as just a short term, those would be areas to watch. But overall trend, we shall see how the market opens. Super, super bearish. It could come back down and retrace this candle from Monday. But I'm not necessarily counting on that. What are you guys thinking? I love that Paul walks in with a joke in the chat. That was great. Where do bad rainbows go? To Prism, where they serve a light sentence. Oh, that was great. You just made my morning. So yeah, kind of short term, watching this range. And really, I wouldn't be looking for a home run trade. Like, if we reject from here, I'm not going to hold it like all the way down to point of control or something crazy. I probably would just be looking for a return to VWAP if I short from there or if I long from there, just kind of a liquidity sweep. And then maybe after that first trade, if it happens initially, then we can look for the overall trend and look for a bigger trade. But that's kind of my thought process for today, since we've had a little bit of chop over the last couple days. At least chop until the massive moves happen. Base hits the way to go nowadays. Yeah, at least this week so far. All right, we got market open in about a minute. I don't think we have any news today. Yeah, crude oil at 10:30, and then just a bunch of like speakers and policy meetings and stuff like that later this afternoon. Which indicators do I have right now turned on my screen? All I have is VWAP. You saw the orb video? You liked it? Awesome. Glad you found it helpful. Happy birthday, Eve. Yeah, the point of control, previous day high, all that stuff, I mark it manually. I actually have some indicators that I like use for that. So session volume profile, I turn it on and then I mark the lines and then I turn it back off just so it stays out of the way because I feel like it makes the chart cluttered. All right, we're heading up so far. Juan, the orb video, I did it several months ago. Go check out. It's on my playlist, the futures trading playlist. That would probably be an easier way to find it because there's fewer videos in that one. Right now, I'm on the 1 minute chart. For the market open, I usually zoom into the 1 minute just because there haven't been that many candles yet. But I do have this watermark in the background so you can see what time frame I'm on because I'll switch. Do I have a mentor? No. I learned all the strategies and all that stuff just from YouTube, figuring it out myself. I did work with one person for about 2 months, I think, just kind of more on the psychology kind of things. But no, I don't have like anyone that mentors me or anything right now. Nice, man, Smooth. That's a good feeling. To be done early. Slow moving New York open again. What's going on these last couple days? Pre-market was wild. Yeah. Early pre-market, like 6:30 to 7:30 Central, so 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern. It's hard for me to look at the charts because that's right when I'm making breakfast and getting the kids out the door to school and stuff. So that would be very distracted trading for me. Anna, your feel is that the market will stay like this forever and never go back to normal? No. We go through phases. Oh, Eve, that is the best birthday present ever. Having your kids clean the kitchen for you. You just got to go to bed and they cleaned it. You woke up to a clean kitchen. Oh, best gift. Especially from teenagers. Having them do it without like grumbling. That was probably a great gift. Should we buy or sell today? Give levels, please. Well, take a look at my chart. I have all my levels. I even drew out some red and green boxes to make it easy. Looking for a possible liquidity sweep of previous day high and London high, or if it comes lower, liquidity sweep of London low, Asia low. But for now, we wait. Verisa, I know your strategy. Just do the opposite of whatever I do. That's your plan. I feel like 75% of the time I'm like, I'm in a short. And you're like, I just got long at 500. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, I know, Czar Trader buying VWAP. But that was like, I mean, I guess you could have taken that bounce right there and maybe just held it. Like if your stop loss was below the wick, then you would have been in a good spot. But these candles right here, that was 7, 8, 9 minutes before the open. I don't like those kind of positions because then you still have to deal with the New York Open volatility. And I mean, today wasn't that bad, but in a normal New York Open, you know, it could move 100 points in the first minute. And you're like, holy crap, don't hit my stop loss. Oh no. That's what goes on in my head when I have a position that's open like 10 minutes before the market. It's stressful. Yeah, Anna, as it's coming up here, I'd be looking for a liquidity sweep of this London high, previous day high level at like 540, 550-ish. But with a sweep, I look for like a move up above the level, like maybe up to 555, 560, and then an aggressive sell back down. So there's like a full bodied candle to the downside, a wick on the top. Like I want it to be obvious. If it kind of just floats around up there and looks like it's maybe going to go higher, then that's not good. Oh, Czar Trader, you got in 3 minutes after the open. Okay, well, you're still more brave than me. Yeah, 8, 31, 32, 33. That candle right there. I could see that. Good stuff. And be careful with gold during the like New York pre-market, because the gold session actually opens at 8:20 a.m. Eastern time. So that's when it's most volatile, and it could totally change directions. Like today, it kind of looked like it was going down at the session open, which is at 8:20, and then all of a sudden it reversed and went the other way. So that's equivalent to like a New York open for NQ or ES, where it hasn't quite settled yet. Because I know what you were talking about. I'm actually going to go over here. So this, right around here, like this was the session open for gold. And if you draw a fib from here down to here, it actually looked like, I guess depending on where you draw the fib, you could like put it up here because that was kind of the swing high. But it looked like VWAP was intersecting the 0.5 and the 618 like I talk about in the video. But then it just, I mean, it kind of rejected. Like you could have taken a trade there and maybe gotten stopped out at break even, but then it just reversed. So yeah, you got to watch that like market open volatility. It gets a little crazy. So maybe let that settle first before you try that. Well, we have everything on the Mag 7 opening up green. Nvidia's up big. Amazon's up big. Tesla's up big. We have about 3 more minutes until our 15-minute opening range is officially set. I'm going to take this Asia high level off because we don't really need to look for a liquidity sweep on that one. Coming down to this New York anchored VWAP. G-Man, what is true day at? Does Edgeful have a true day indicator for the ICT true day? All right, let's see what happens at this VWAP right here at 440. If we drop below there, then shoot, we could return back down to Asia low, London low. I haven't checked out their key levels indicator. It's an Edgeful one. I'll take a look. Oh, that one's not Edgeful. There's so many different key levels indicators. I've seen a lot of them. Should we wait 30 minutes every day after market open? Not necessarily. I personally like to wait a little bit. I mean, if I don't see something that's like perfect, then I'll at least wait for the 15-minute opening range to be set. Some people wait for the 30-minute opening range to be set. You can take similar strategy trades off of the 15 and the 30. It's just a kind of a matter of how patient you want to be. Like a lot of people say that the 15 minutes is still a little bit risky because there's a lot more volatility still. 30-minute is a little safer, I guess. I usually do the 15-minute and then the 60-minute, which is also called the initial balance. But I've also taken trades before the first 15 minutes if something just is a super clean setup, like a liquidity sweep or something. I'm watching this VWAP here. If it holds and starts to go back up, might consider a long. But not looking too bouncy just yet. Market open is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Morning, Shez. I'm thinking about it. It's trying to hold here. Yeah, ES is at the low. It's at an interesting spot. It could retest that 15-minute opening range low and bounce. And then reclaim VWAP. Still watching though. No signs of buyers aggressively eating this thing back up. All right, breaking out below the range. I don't know if there was news last night. I actually wasn't really paying much attention to the market last night. We had jiu-jitsu and soccer and all the things with the kiddos. All right, so that's definitely a break outside of the 15-minute opening range. I don't like to chase those. There are some people that trade this just by like taking a short on the first break or a long on the first break to the top side. That's not me. I've gotten burned too many times on that. So at this point, I would be looking for, if it comes back up and retests this VWAP level, we could look for a short continuation. Or if it comes down to London low, Asia low first, we could look for a long, a liquidity sweep long. Those are the scenarios I'm watching for. We do have a gap fill down to like 219. So if this thing stays super bearish, I mean, there's several support bounce levels that I would watch before that. But that would be like the home run target short. So London low, Asia low, and the weekly VWAP all kind of in this general vicinity. So I like a possible bounce there. This is futures. We got 230 people watching, 60 likes. Go hit that like button, you guys. You used to see the volume profile indicator on my chart in the past. Did I ditch it? No, not at all. Volume profile is my thing. So the session volume profile, I turn it on. I mark my point of control, value area high, value area low, and then I turn the indicator off just to keep my chart a little less cluttered. And then the volume profile on the right, same thing. I use it to mark off my support and resistance levels on the higher time frame. And then I turn it off. So I think I was scrolling through the chat. They're going pretty fast. But this gray area someone asked me about earlier, that was a volume profile, support and resistance level. I zoom out to like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, whatever I need to get more price action on the screen. And I mark off the high volume nodes for support and resistance. But no, I didn't ditch it. I just turned it off, so it's out of the way. Yes, Chris, the Rapid account is intraday, not end of day. The Rapid account is cool because they have the daily payouts, but I don't love the intraday. If you're looking for a daily payout, I would recommend Tradeify, the select plan, or Trade Day. Trade Day has a little bit tougher eval because it's a 5-day pass, but better rules on the payout because you're not limited to 1,000 per day. So, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, just like any account does. But yeah, if you're looking for daily payouts, I would say Tradeify or Trade Day. Have I tried Heikinashi candles? I have not. I've heard about them, but no, I've never used them. I try to keep things simple. I noticed that the more I got into like different strategies and trying to add things to my charts and make it complicated, I actually traded worse. Lucid doesn't have daily payouts. I mean, they do, but it's a program that you can only get accepted to after like a certain amount of payouts. You can't just buy a daily payout plan. What strategies or indicator do I use to spot the current trend? I don't really have any indicators. And to be totally transparent with you guys, for me, it's hard to spot the trend because you can look at the 15-minute chart and see one trend, and then look at the hourly chart and then see a different trend, and then look at the 4-hour chart and see a totally different trend. And then I trade on the 5-minute, so I'm like, which one should I look at? Like, it's hard to have a complete bias for me. I know there's some people who have success with it, at least lately, because it's been kind of choppy and rangy. So I feel like it could go either way. I'm like, well, if it goes down, it could bounce here. If it goes up, it could reject here. So I usually set up more of an if-then scenario. Like if it goes up, then I'm looking for a short here or a retest here or whatever. Just kind of a couple of if-thens. And I don't have a specific indicator that I use. It's more like VWAP or a liquidity sweep. Like I'll look left and kind of see if there's a level that I think it could bounce at. So I guess it's just zooming out and looking at price action. All right. Still waiting to see if it comes up to this VWAP area, we could look for a short, or if it comes down to these levels down here and bounces, we could look for a liquidity grab. My Discord is free. Theoretically, the trend is up even if it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I agree. Like you could zoom out to the weekly chart and say that it's trending up, but then someone also says that we're in a downtrend, but they're probably looking at the 30-minute chart. So it just depends on how far you want to zoom out. And honestly, how much does the daily chart or the weekly chart matter when we're on the 1-minute chart for trading? I mean, yes, it does matter. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't. Obviously, zoom out and look at some key levels on the higher time frame. But I'm just making an argument that it's not always easy to come into the market and be like, we're looking for longs only because I looked at the 4-hour chart and I see that the trend is up. I think you need to be flexible and just see where it goes. No, I don't trade only reversals. All right. London low, Asia low. Let's see what kind of reaction we get here. I like this level because there's also weekly VWAP there. So there's kind of three reasons for a possible bounce. I was kind of waiting for it to come a little bit lower to Asia low. Well, shoot. Is it going to bounce from there? I was being a little too greedy with my bounce level. I wanted it to come down to Asia. That was a nice bounce off of that weekly VWAP, though. Dang it. Did anyone else get in along there? I did not. I'm going to be annoyed if it goes without us. Well, good job. I'm glad some of you got in it. Let's go to the moon. Come back, MNQ. We have flight tickets to board. I know, right? I missed the plane. That was just rude. This is not giving me the vibes that it's just going to like continue back to the moon, though. That was a little bounce. But I don't know if it has the power to go all the way back up. So, scenarios, it could reject at VWAP here at 432. So we could look at the short back down to that Asia low. Or if we get super heavy, we have the gap fill down here at 219. Let's see how it reacts to VWAP, though. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's see. Well, I was saying it might not have the power to go all the way back up, but now it's starting to get some momentum. We're stuck in a range, yeah. That's why I was looking for a long off the Asia low, London low, or a short off previous day high, London high. But I was being too greedy with my target down here. I wanted it to sweep both of them. That's all right. There's always another opportunity, right? That's what I always tell myself when the train leaves without me. Am I taking a short at previous day high? Well, I don't think it'll get back up to previous day high just yet. I would think it would reject here first. Or at least that's what I'm watching for. It could just blast right through and prove me wrong. Let's see what happens here. The one to unlock the members only videos, that is the premium, I think is what it's called. Still watching. Alright, I'm gonna try a short. 403 is where I got in. Not the best entry. Felt a little trigger shy on that one. See if it actually rejects. Wait for Trump tweet and the market goes boom. I know. Is he supposed to talk? No. There's like a press conference, a policy meeting But that's all this afternoon. There's a press secretary thing at 1. Trump receives an intel brief at 1, and then a policy meeting at 3. Like, it's all later. There's nothing this morning. But you never know when he's going to log into X and say something. I use Financial Juice. Another good one is Forex Factory. And I personally, I filter it to just the red folder news. Because if you leave everything up, there's yellow and orange folder. And in my experience, that stuff doesn't really affect the market that much. And it just kind of clutters it because then you're like looking at something every hour. So that's what I do, is filter it for just the red folder news. Well, that's not looking great. Okay, I'm out. Let's see what we get from here. Watch, now it's going to reject. I just have my stop loss in the wrong spot. Is that what's going to happen? Yeah, you could be right. Lactic acid law. If it comes down a little bit lower to this VWAP and the 15-minute opening range low and it holds here at like 428, we could try the change in trend, go long. I don't want to chase it though. So if it comes back down here, something like that, it might just go without us though. $247 viewers, but 100 of them are bots. I think even a bot could hit a like button. $436. Yeah, I was looking at like 432-ish, 433. Let's see if it comes back down. Waffles, you must be feeling better. You got jokes. Come a little lower, NQ. Come on. Why are you not allowed to trade gold? You should be allowed to. I don't understand your question. All right, it's going. I didn't want to chase it since I had already taken that loss before and I felt flip-floppy with the trend. But it looks like it's working out. Where would be my targets for longs if I was in this trade? The way I do it, I scale out. So I would probably be in about 5 contracts. I would have taken off 1 at the 15-minute opening range high, 1 at London high, 1 at previous day high, and then I would leave 1 or 2 runners depending on how much I had left. That's what I would do. But while that was happening, I would also trail my stop to at least make sure to not have a bunch of unrealized profits, because that's a big trade. That's just the way I trade, though. I know most people, or many people, look for, 30 to 50 point moves, more of a scalp. The first target would be 80 points, and then 94, and then 104. So that's a pretty big move. So it depends on you and what your sizing is. I'm currently on the 1 minute chart. I flip flop between the 1 and the 5. Interesting pullback here. All right, it took a long at 465. Whoa. I'll tell you guys why. And I actually got in late. My fingers weren't fast enough. But the reason is, it had this like chop and consolidation before the move up. And then it came back down and retested that same chop and consolidation area. So it was a good risk to reward play because I just had to put my stop loss there. And I could have gotten a better entry if it didn't happen so fast. Now let's see if it actually continues. Come on. There was good volume on that candle. Keep going up. If we get a move back up to this wick at like 507, I'm going to move to break even. All right, this first line is our 15-minute opening range high, which is now almost our initial balance high. And then I believe this is our London high. Come on, let's get a good 5-minute candle closure here. Keep going. This price action sucks, you guys. It's like it had a good high volume move above VWAP, and then it like broke through that chop and that consolidation. It looked like it was going up, and then there's no continuation. I have a couple take profits set up at the 15-minute opening range high, which I guess is the initial balance high at this point. London high and previous day high. And then we'll see what happens up there. If it ever gets up there, geez. So, interesting stat, you guys. I'm going to move my stop loss to break even since I'm going to move away onto a different screen. Edgeful shows the opening candle continuation by weekday. When the opening candle, the first 60 minutes of the open is a green candle, the bias is long by 92%. That means that there's going to be a green session today just by data. Obviously, this has nothing to do with any other like levels or news or anything. But that's pretty significant. Usually these stats are in like the 70s or 60s. And 88% chance that there's going to be a single break of the initial balance. So with this data of a green session and a single break, makes you think that it's most likely going to hit the top of the high. And then once it breaks, we can look at some extension targets. Or actually, I can do that right now. So yeah, everything is kind of saying bias is long. Let's look at the initial balance by levels to see possible breakout. So on breakout days, what is our range? Initial balance low is down here, up to our high, 82% or 0.82%. So that says that there's a 70% chance that we hit the 0.3 extension, a 60% chance that we hit the 0.4 extension. That's still a decent chance on the 0.4. I know I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse. Obviously, it still has to break through this resistance and actually make it up there. But just kind of seeing where it could potentially go if it happens. Dang, the 0.4 extension's up here at 605. I don't know. We shall see. For now, it looks like it's going to hit my trailing stop loss. Yup. I'm out. This price action, you guys, this sucks. Yeah, Anna, the data changes every session. Because it all depends on, like, what day of the week it is, whether we opened with a gap below the gap or above the gap. It depends on what the range is. Like if you're looking at the 15-minute opening range data or the initial balance data, it talks about like how big the range is. It gives so much data. It's really cool. Long again if it drops down to the VWAP. Yeah, if it comes down there. We could try again. Yes, Edgeful is a referral thing. So if you guys are interested in it, let me grab the link for you guys. I just posted it in the chat. It's there's two different subscriptions. There's the $49 a month one, which is the data and it has some indicators on TradingView. And then there's one that's, I think it's like $200 a month or something, and it's like algo bots. I don't use that one. Have I tried using anchored volume profile and anchor it to the New York Open? Yes. I only do that if I'm trading power hour. Just because right now there's only about an hour of data. So I personally don't. Sometimes I'll use it for targets. Like if I'm in a long or a short and I'm looking for a return to the session point of control. Especially if there's confluence, like maybe VWAP and point of control are at the same level. So I kind of use it as like a mean reversion trade target. But I do like it if I'm trading in the afternoon, which is rare. But I find that value area low and value area high are good long and short range trade opportunities from the current session volume profile. You fell asleep watching this PA? Yeah, definitely. This is pretty gross. Yeah, I don't know, Gray. I feel like it's been like that the last 2 days at least. I know I remember yesterday during the session saying something about it feels like I'm trading Asia. And I feel like London has been the session to trade this week. Although for me, that's at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sleeping. Well, it looks like it maybe decided to bounce without coming back down to VWAP. These are good days to just survive. Maybe take 1 or 2 losses and then just admit that you don't have a great read on the market, or at least I don't, and live to trade another day. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I will set an alert up here at the initial balance high just to watch, because if it comes up here and maybe sweeps London high and previous day high and rejects, that could be a good short setup. But that's about all I see at this point. I don't really want to be in the middle of this chop. All right, gang. I think I'm going to call it quits here. I will be back tomorrow, though. Have a great one. Take care, you guys.